Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third session for the day. I'm here with Jacob Workman, who is the head of our student living. We'll hear talking to you about accommodation today. I'll also be talking about some of our accommodation types available at the University of Tasmania. And Jacob will be talking more about student living at the University of Tasmania for the first half of the presentation. So thanks for joining. Just a few housekeeping rules. So we will have the presentation and webinar all recorded and available later on after the sessions are done. We will have an open Q&A session at the end. So we're looking at about 20 minutes of presentation and 10 minutes at the end. So feel free to start popping in any questions you have, and we will look at them as we go. So Jacob, I'll hand over the presentation to you and just let me know whenever you need me to pop onto the next slide.
Excellent. Thank you, Mona. Hello, everyone. Yapalingana, Nikapalawa Milatana. That's Palawakani, which is the Tasmanian Aboriginal dialect, and it's just acknowledging the land on which where I'm at least, and hopefully you'll be soon. So my name is Jacob Workman. I am the Director of Student Living within the University of Tasmania. I'm based up in Launceston, which is our main campus in the north of the state, and I have counterparts based in the south, down in Hobart, which look after the student experience within our student living communities. Go to the next slide, please, Mona. And what you'll see is that realistically, accommodation is not the business that we're in. We are in the business of enrichment, and we really are completely dedicated to enhancing the student experience of every one of our students who live with us on campus. Now, we want everyone who attends the University of Tasmania to really have an exceptional student experience. We want those that live on site, on campus, to have the best. And that's something that we take very seriously. So you can see it's experiencing the best of the University of Tasmania, and we really do mean that through and through. We're trying to enhance the student experience, looking after you, your loved ones, your clients, everybody who has that affiliation, so that you feel that you are fully integrated into your university experience. Ultimately, it's about community. It's about your own personal growth. It's about your own studies, but socializing and sport. And we'll go into some of that in a little bit. But again, I'm biased, but I think it's the best thing that we have on offer. Go ahead to the next slide, please, Mona. We want you to come and live with us in a place where you are safe. So safety is our first priority, and we take that very seriously, and I'm very happy to report that in our student experience surveys, safety is the thing that our students report the highest satisfaction in. So our students living in accommodation do feel safe. We do that because we have dedicated support for you on site at all times. So we have a student living team comprised of a team up here in the north in Launceston, 2 teams in the south down in Hobart, who are on site from 9 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. They're with you within your residences, helping you go about your travels on the university campus, answering any questions you might have, and they're accessible to you from 9 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. They're a team of people who will know you. You will know them, and it helps enhance that feeling of inclusion and safety. We also have on-site security 24 hours a day. They run parallel to us, right? So we hand over to them formally at midnight and they get their phones back at 9 a.m. But we know that our students are going to be safe within their communities the entire time that they're with us. All of our sites obviously are going to be access controlled, and so you swipe into your residences, you swipe into your rooms. We can refer you on to any sort of support services within this university and beyond the university. We're approachable, we know you, we're genuine, we care. We want you to have an exceptional student experience, and it starts with safety. But the other pillar that I'm going to speak about is respect. We want you to come live in a place where you are respected. We want to know you as a person. We want to know about you. We have in Launceston 26 different countries represented within our student living communities on campus. And across the state, we have 31 different countries within those communities. And we truly do benefit from the strength that diversity brings. We want all of you to bring your unique perspectives. your unique experiences. We want you to come and learn from other perspectives and other experiences and be in a vibrant, diverse community where we respect you for you. Everyone within our student body is treated as an adult. We expect you to behave as an adult as well. But we help you through that prospect of respect and learning from others. The third pillar is inclusion. We want you to live in a place where you are included. We do that through a few ways. Again, we have a very diverse student body representing 31 countries. Our youngest students are 17. Our oldest resident is 77. And that resident brings a lot of experience that we can learn from, and we include that resident in our activities as well. We have a really vibrant residential leader program where your peers are selected to be with you in residences, supporting you in your studies, in the programs that we offer, and there truly is something for everyone. So yes, we want you to succeed academically. We're going to support you to succeed academically. We have study groups. We can connect you with other peers that are in the second or third year of the degree that you're studying. But we also want you to succeed socially. We want you to meet people. We want you to get involved and included. We want you to do sports, try new sports, continue the sports that you already love. We want you to experience movies, movie nights, cuisines, dinners. We have a whole program of activities, bushwalking, cooking. We have a whole program of activities that we offer to our residents to really make sure that there's something for everyone and everyone gets included. So those are the three pillars. You can see them there: safety, respect, and inclusion. And that's the foundation of everything that we offer to enhance your student experience. Please go to the next slide. We are with you on your journey from the very beginning. So from point of offer of accommodation to your arrival in Tasmania, we can organize your transfer from the airport to your accommodation. We meet you here on site with a big old smiling face and some of your peers. We show you to your room and around your residences, and indeed around the university. We're with you throughout your studies, all of that exceptional student experience through to graduation, and I've put in there and beyond. Because again, we want to see you succeed. We want to see you succeed in your studies, but we want you to stay involved with the University of Tasmania and these exceptional student communities, even after you've graduated, because you still have a contribution to make. And we want you to be able to make those contributions to others. And you might reflect on that time that when you first arrived on campus and just how nervous you may have been, but just how welcome you were embraced. You're warmly embraced onto campus, and you want to give that to somebody else as well, that exceptional student experience. We're with you the entire way. Please go to your next slide. Now, I've already mentioned that it's a very diverse, active, friendly student body. It really is the best that the University of Tasmania has to offer. Again, 31 countries, all disciplines. So we support all disciplines, varying ages, all levels of experience, but everyone is bound by the values of student living. Everyone is bound by the expectations of what it means to be within a community. And a community means something. It means that you're not alone. It means that you're not isolated. It means that you are connected to others. Next slide. In student living, you are known, and that's important. We can best support you when we know you. You can best support others when you know them. People do not join a community to be anonymous. You join a community to be surrounded by vibrant peers who are also studying their degrees, involved in new activities and experiences, because that's the best of what we have to offer. That's what really enriches your student experience. So you will be known, but you will be valued. You'll be treated as a partner. You'll be treated as an equal. We are here to help and to enhance the student experience. You'll be encouraged to try new things. You'll certainly be encouraged to succeed, and you'll be supported in doing so. So again, I'm biased, but I think that living on campus within our residential communities is the ultimate experience that you can have, and I wish that everyone would do it. The next few slides are just some images of activities that we ran at the start of this year. So as we click through them, you can see some of our welcome activities, students coming together over some games and socializing. We've done some lawn croquet up here in Launceston as part of our orientation program. So people getting out and meeting each other over a game of croquet. We do some barbecues, we do some evening warmers, we do some live music. We want you to actually come and get to know other people. Then we want you to have shared experiences with them. We want you to experience Tasmania because it is truly a remarkable, remarkable place. It is unparalleled anywhere else in the world. You're not going to get the experiences that you can have in Tasmania. So we take people out to the bush. We take people on country to see some of the natural sites, World Heritage listed sites. We want people to be active and healthy. So we organize residential sports for people to play. We want people to socialize with one another. And so we have ample opportunities for people to do that as well. Again, I hope that you join us very soon. And if you have any questions about the student experience or accommodation, there are plenty of ways that we can answer those questions. And I hope that gives you just a bit of a taste of what you can expect when you arrive. Mona.
Thank you so much, Jacob. That was really, really insightful. And just wanted to say a few words to the audience. I'll leave it on to the previous slide, but basically, when I was an international student, I was an international student at UTAS for 6 years. And when I first arrived in Tasmania back in 2008, that was quite a while ago, I did join accommodation, which was John Fisher College, which I'll be speaking about soon. And I lived there for 2 years, and Jacob is completely right. I always recommend students, and as Jacob said, is to when you to join accommodation when you join here, when you start arriving here in the future, because it allows you to connect with, you know, not just the people in your classroom, but also expand your networks. And during the first 2 years of when I arrived in Tasmania, you know, you're new to the environment, you know, you're starting back from scratch ultimately. You know, I had to leave my back home. I had to leave home and come here. So, you know, I think it's really important for students to start from a place where you are valued, respected, known, and you can engage within the community, you know, whether it be in your classroom or, you know, in accommodation or even through clubs and societies outside of accommodation. So all of those options are available for students, and I wouldn't regret at all starting off an accommodation, because what happened is, you know, I made friends with 3 other girls, and later on we moved out and we had a private rental leasing, which students can do as well later on. So accommodation just gives you that base of expanding who you know, and touching base and making sure that you're, you know, you have that support around you, because ultimately you want to feel supported and feel welcomed. And that's exactly what our accommodation team and student living team guys provide for students. So I just wanted to mention that to students, that I have gone through it, and so many of other international students have been through it as well. And we always hear positive experiences from students who have joined all of our different types of accommodations. So what I'll do next is I'll speak about our accommodation options available. So this photo here is of our Hobart apartments. So what I'm going to speak about is we've got different types of accommodation options available. So our campus is spread throughout Sandy Bay, which is in Hobart. We've got a campus in Launceston, up north of Tasmania, and we've also got a smaller campus in Burnie, which is northwest. So we've got accommodation available in all of these sites. Our main hubs are basically Hobart and Launceston, and we've got different types of accommodations available. So, for example, one of them are self-contained, you know, apartments, and these could range anywhere between the 2020 rate that's on the slide now is $262 a week, and they're self-contained. So that means if you can see from the photo on the slide, it's got a small kitchenette, and it's also got communal areas as well within the building that students can, you know, take part in barbecues or meet up to chat about studies or whatever they would like to do. So we've got accommodation available, self-contained ones in the city, and different types available. There's so many, and it's all on our website, which I'll come to the next slide later on throughout the rest of the presentation, but one type is self-contained, and they're all modern as well. The next one is single room types. So this is an example of our university apartments, which is based in our Hobart accommodation campus, so in Sandy Bay. So a single room, the university apartment, this one specifically is a 6-bedroom unit. So we've got an apartment with 6 different bedrooms, and it's got a communal shared kitchen, shared bathroom, etc. So this one's a little bit cheaper, so it's $240 a week for an example, as an example. Go to the next slide. The other types we have that are also single college room-like accommodation options is Christ College and John Fisher College. So John Fisher was the one I stayed in, but right next to it, there's Christ College as well. So, and within those colleges, there's so many activities that happen. I remember when I was a student living there, there were so many things happening, with the colleges, so many social gatherings. There was so much opportunities for students to actually mingle with each other and get to know each other. And that's how your base starts as an international student. So that's why it's so important to utilize the accommodation options available and start off somewhere. As a base. So yeah, this one, for example, was Christ College and John Fisher College. So a little bit cheaper. The next one is from Launceston, which is up north. So our Newnham apartments. So these ones, again, like what I said previously, this one's a more self-contained modern apartment as well. So it is a bit cheaper. It's about $209 a week. And we've got the Inversk apartments in Launceston as well. Again, it's self-contained. So this one's about $216 a week. We do have a lot more accommodation options that will be available in Hobart. It's under construction at the moment, but we are going to have more information soon about it. So definitely have a look at our website. If you just type in accommodation UTAS, it'll come up with our website. And that's where you'll be able to submit an application and start your process online. It's super easy to submit an application. You just click apply now, pick the one that you want. And it's important to note that some of these accommodation options have certain facilities included and some of them don't have some facilities included. We do also have under 18 hostel and homestay available for students who are under 18. So that's a little bit of a different procedure, but if you are under 18, we'll be made aware of that when you submit an application and we will accommodate further. So this was just a little bit of a quick, brief introduction as to our accommodation options available both in Sandy Bay and Launceston up north. But, we're going to have a lot more new accommodation types being built in the future. We currently have one which is going to accommodate over 400 rooms. So we're hoping that will be open in 2021 next year. And you can choose the different types and options you want based on what you prefer or how you prefer your living style to be. So some students want to have more of a self-contained room to themselves, so they're a bit more private, or some students don't mind the single room options. So I had a single room, and I used to pop out and do my own cooking. So there were kitchen facilities where students gather together and cook together, or you can cook for yourself, or there were lots of communal areas available within the accommodation. And like the following year, I remember back when I was a student, they started having meals included. So you would pay for those, or you just want breakfast, for example, so you just pay for that. Or so we have so many different options available for students. It's just a matter of picking the right one. How to apply? The links would be available on our website, but basically there would be 2 links available. One is accommodation options, which is some of the ones I showed you plus more. And there would be an apply now button as well, where you're able to click on that and submit an application. So it was a very quick, short, sweet presentation, but we are open to questions, and I can see some questions that have been coming through. I'll just have a quick look at these
Yeah,
before
Mona, while you're
I,
looking at those, I'll just
yeah,
make comment as well that within
sure.
all of our accommodation across the entire state, all utilities are included. And so there's no additional fees for electricity or for water, for example. That includes internet. So the internet is included. So we have EduRoam, which is the university wireless network, is in all of our accommodation options. So you get to access that as well. And Tasmania can get cold at times in the winter. All of our accommodation is heated as well, so you don't need to worry about that. You can stay toasty warm.
Oh yeah, I remember the plus side for the accommodation options is you've got a little electric heater attached to the wall, and I remember it was the best because it was, because they're smaller apartment units and you can heat it up really quick. So, if students have concerns over winter, don't worry about it. As Jacob said, it's really toasty in the room, so you're not going to worry about it. I actually didn't want to leave my room sometimes because it was so nice and toasty. But I was just going through oh, I've lost the question now. Just give me 2 secs. But it's really good, guys, to see some questions coming through. So, Jacob, or I can answer that as well. So what is the difference between on-campus accommodation and Jane? I guess they're talking about Jane Franklin
Yep.
Hall.
So
Did you
Jane,
want to
Jane
comment
Franklin
on that one?
Hall is an independent but affiliated residential college. So they are not on campus at the University of Tasmania. They're set a little bit back from the campus down in Hobart, the Sandy Bay campus. Jane Franklin of the collegiate model is there's an independent head of that college and there's a student club. They're all students of the University of Tasmania. That accommodation is not run by the University of Tasmania, is what I would say.
Fantastic. And I've got a question here, which I can answer. So can I ask when the 2021 semester one accommodation applications will start? So great question. So you can actually pop in your application from now if you wish, if you want to start semester one next year. We do have, at the moment we're abiding by state government, rules and regulations since the borders are quite restricted at the moment, but there's no reason why you can't start applying for accommodation from now. Feel free. We will pop those apply now links for our accommodation. So students are able to pop online, have a look at the options first. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to contact our recruitment team or even head of student living or accommodation services, and they're always more than happy to help. Um, I have a question here. Why is the Sandy Bay University apartment a little bit more expensive than others? So with the university apartment, so I guess it depends on the facilities available as well as part of those. And, some of them are a bit cheaper than others because of the facilities and inclusions and exclusions, I must say. So that's why maybe the Sandy Bay University apartment is a little bit more expensive. But I must say to the audience that generally Tasmania, and I think Jacob would agree as well, that accommodation and rent in Tasmania is way cheaper than the mainland. So, on average, we're ranging at around between $200 to $250 Australian dollars a week. And if you go to Melbourne and Sydney, it's super expensive when it comes to accommodation per week. And, sometimes I've always said you get more bang for your buck for what you pay here. And different accommodation types in Sydney and Melbourne, for example, you might have so many exclusions and you're just paying the rent and you have to add extra on top if you want whatever it is, meals, etc. Whereas ours is very different. We try to accommodate to students based on their preference. So hence why some prices might be higher than others. Um, I'm just looking at other questions. So Rachel had a question. So how many rooms is in the one apartment? Is that single or few rooms in one apartment? So Jacob, did you want me to answer or you can answer that
Yeah,
one?
so it depends upon which residence you go into. The university apartments at Sandy Bay, there are 6 bedrooms per unit. So you have a shared kitchen and you have shared toilet facilities there with 6 bedrooms surrounding that. We have something similar to that up here in Launceston as well in our La Prena units. You can also have the individual apartments, which is a self-contained studio where you have your own bathroom, your own kitchen, right? That's a bit more expensive, and we've already discussed that a bit. And those are in, I think our smallest is 46 now 40 up at West Park. So we have about 40 studio apartments in one block, ranging up to, as Mona said, 400, 450 in some of the larger Hobart apartments, where it's still you have your own self-contained studio, but the complex itself is much larger. And then we have the community living, which is my favorite, and that's what Mona lived in when she was at the college. The community living is actually where you have your own single room, and then you have large shared kitchens and large shared common rooms and large shared spaces where you get to meet with other people and mix and mingle. So that's my favorite, but we have something for everybody.
Yeah, and touching point on that, it was definitely what an experience. I really highly recommend students to join accommodation because I actually have, I'm going a little bit off track, but I actually have my, you know how students have end of year books? I have mine from my time of being a John Fisher College member. So it was really fun times. That was back in 2010 when I left, and you know, you guys will make so many great memories. You'll meet so many different new people, and there's heaps of international students as well. And it's also you'll actually find a lot of domestic students that are part
Mhm.
of these accommodation types available on campus, especially the communal ones. So you know, I actually made much more friends with domestic people, domestic students, and then slowly, you know, I started making friends with internationals, and there were, you know, students from Malaysia, Vietnam, India, you name it. So, you know, I think it's so good to have students start off as a base. I'm just having a look to see if we have any other questions. Good question, Victoria. So, are the shared units separated by gender or mixed? Jacob, you could answer that one if
We
you want.
have both. And so it's again, we try to accommodate the preference of the student. And so we have most of our 6-bedroom units would be separated by gender, but we also have mixed gendered 6-bedroom units. Similarly, within our communal living areas, it's usually mixed gender, but we'll always have one wing available for only female or only male students because that might be their preference.
Awesome. And had a question here from Chelsea. So, are the UTAS accommodation options walking distance to campus and town? So, for students who don't have a car, for example?
Yes is the
So,
answer, but
yeah.
it depends upon which one you want, right? So if you want to be in town, then you go live in the Hobart CBD, and that's not walking distance to Sandy Bay campus, which is where most of the teaching and learning activities occur. But you're right there amongst all the restaurants and nightlife. Other people want to live in Sandy Bay, where you're just down the hill from campus, but you wouldn't be walking into downtown Hobart. Um, the Launceston primary campus here at Newnham is all on campus, but you wouldn't walk into Launceston downtown. Inveresk is downtown, but you wouldn't be able to walk up to campus for the main teaching and learning. So it's a great question. Again, we have something for everybody would be my right response. Um, so you do really choose either, you know, downtown or on the university campus.
Yeah, and Chelsea, if you live in the on campus, it's walking distance everywhere. And then when I lived off campus, the bus rides are super quick. So I live in the city right now, and I actually use the bus still because it's just super convenient. And it literally takes 7 minutes. And there's buses that run every 10 minutes from the city center. So if you're living in the city center and you have classes on the in campus, in the Sandy Bay campus. You just pop down to the bus station, take the bus. 7 minutes, you're in the Sandy Bay campus. You won't even feel it. So Tasmania has a different feel to mainland cities like Melbourne and Sydney, where it might take you a little bit longer, but we're super quick here. Transportation is really, really easy. I've got a question here. Um, if there's accommodation available, oh, I just missed it. If there is accommodation available, should I confirm the application now? And when should I pay the rent? If I don't pay it before due time, should I have to submit the application again? Did you know much about that one, Jacob? About
No, I
payment for
don't
rent?
know. I don't know. That'd be handled probably by the accounts
Yeah,
team. But normally there is just an application fee and then the first month's rent, because we would usually pay a month in advance. But
yeah.
that wouldn't be due until closer to your actual move-in date, would be my thinking.
Yeah, and that's what I remember I did. So yeah, there's an application fee and then once it gets closer, you start paying your actual rent. I'm just having a look to see if there's anything else, but we're almost running out of time. So I think a lot of the other questions can be answered privately. So we will get to your questions um, after the session is done. So I just want to thank Jacob for joining the session, and it's been really insightful, and it's definitely brought back so many of my memories from 12, 13 years ago. So thanks, Jacob. And thank you guys for joining. I just want to say the next session after this, which is starting in 15 minutes at 3 p.m. our time, is from the Tasmanian University Union. So you're going to hear about our clubs and societies that are available for students. So really good one to join in as well. So that's starting in 15 minutes. Please use the same link that you've used to attend this session. So it's all one link. Thanks, Jacob. And
Absolute
I
pleasure.
shall see you soon. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
all.
And thanks to the audience. Cheers.